Right, this is Swara Saleh with the Nerds of Color, speaking with Cynthia Addai-Robinson and Markella Kavenagh. How are you both doing today?
Doing great.
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing well. Markella, it's great to see you again.
Yeah.
And Cynthia, this is my first time interviewing you. I just have to tell you, both of you are amazing, but Cynthia, I have to tell you, your performance as Todd Midiel is really exemplary, especially this season. And I just have to ask, what has it been like to give so much life and agency to this character who has, I will say, mainly been a victim of circumstance in the books?
Yeah, it's first of all, thank you. That's very kind and generous of you. And I think all of us have that sense of responsibility to these characters and understanding the importance that they can carry for an audience. Um, it's interesting to hear the word victim because I've never considered Midiel as a victim, but you are right. The circumstances around her that, things certainly are out of her hands to a certain extent. But I think that for her, it's really about being part of something that is so much larger than the individual, that all of your actions are really about, the greater good, about your fellow, in this case, Numenorian, and having that sense of purpose. I mean, before Pharazôn, seizes power, presumably she is meant to be the next queen. This is the role that she's literally been raised her entire life to step into, and it sort of gets taken away. And I think the sense of trust and belief in her faith, and that same belief that Elendil shares, I think they understand that it's greater than them, and they really have to kind of forge ahead in their sort of leadership roles, even if it means it's from a prison cell. So I for one am excited to see, where we see Miriel by the end of the season. I'm very curious what the road ahead might look like for her.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this interview, we're actually delving into spoilers at the end of season two. So, Markella, I can ask you, now that Nori and Poppy have helped the stranger find his place finally, what do you think Nori's next steps are in season three? And what do you think she's taken from her journey with the stranger?
I mean, I'm not sure what her next steps will be. But I think that for now, what she takes from the stranger is the importance of being heard and being in a friendship where you challenge each other. I think what I really love about the friendship with the stranger and the friendship with Poppy is that it feels true to life because they do challenge each other and they do call each other out. And I think that that really is a remarkable just kind of kind of perspective on friendship, I guess, as well, because I think sometimes, especially if you're a people pleaser like Nori potentially can be, it's really easy to shut down how you're feeling. And so they've always been so expressive of where they're at and what they require from each other. So I think in that sense, it's just the importance of connection and just really being honest and leading with love.
Yeah, absolutely. Cynthia, as we wrap up, is there anything you can tease about where Miriel will be in season three?
I wish I could. I think, our showrunners, they really are the ones that have the big sort of roadmap laid out before them. And, we are excited and hopeful to sort of, see what the rest of this story is. Not just for myself personally, but I think, I got to watch the last two episodes last night. I was blown away. And as a fan, as well as a participant, I'm very, very excited to see what more we could mine from this story. So we shall see.
And us audiences are so excited to see it. Cynthia Addai-Robinson, Markella Kavenagh, thank you so much for speaking with Nerds of Color today. And congratulations on season two and an amazing finale. And we can't wait to see where it goes from here.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Hello,
you.
this is Swara Saleh with the Nerds of Color, speaking with Benjamin Walker. And for the first time, Robert Aramayo. So great to speak with you both. Elrond, I gotta tell you, Robert Elrond is one of my favorite characters of all time.
Oh,
And you do a
cool.
great
Me
job
too.
this season.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we're getting into full spoilers at the end of the season. That was brutal to see.
Yeah.
So, for the both of you, now that the Noldor have endured this terrible loss of a Region, are we starting, and yet they're starting to found Rivendell. What headspace are both of your characters in at this point?
Hmm. Well, allegedly, it's Rivendell. We can neither confirm nor deny. Also, they haven't told us,
Yeah.
as much as we do. Probably more than we do.
We've been talking about Rivendell a lot, haven't we? And just saying like, you know, that Rivendell doesn't begin as like, oh, I don't know, plant the flag in the ground that we're going to do something here. Rivendell is a means to an end. It begins as, it's a convenient position to defend from against Sauron's forces, and so it's not even to those who founded it, it's not anything to begin with, which I think is a really good thing and really helpful, because it's not like this city's supposed to just spring out of the ground.
Yeah, it comes out of necessity.
Yeah, which I think is a good thing for the story, but also it means that there's ambiguity as to where we really are at the end of the show. Who knows where we are?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're certainly on the back foot, but beautifully Tolkienianly resilient.
so Benjamin, to elaborate more, that's where King Gil-galad is at this point, like with everything that's happened, he's just trying to be resistant for his people.
I think so, but also I think there's a lot more potential in spite of their circumstances, in that they are truly united. The landscape of Middle-earth may have been a bit clearer and safer in the first episode, and now in Ash in the last episode, but we stand united in the first piece of what we, eventually will be the United Peoples of Middle-earth. But we are all in agreement, including the elves at large. They rise up in this rageful cheer, and we are all together as, the avenge elves. We all stand on this precipice, and have even gained a new member, even if we've lost a beloved one.
Yeah,
that there is hope in the face of darkness.
very much so. But, Robert, I want to ask you one question about Elrond. In this series, he's a very idealistic character, but do you think that after all he's been through, he's had a, especially at the end of this season, he's had a loss of innocence and idealism that will influence him in season three? This
I
loss.
think so. I think he's got older. Yeah. I think he's got older. And I've always thought about like Rivendell in relationship to Elrond and sort of working it backwards, And there's like I think it is said that Eregion was the sort of Valinor on Earth, right? Was the sort of perception behind Eregion. But really, if you think about it, Rivendell is way more Eregion on Earth than Eregion
Valinor,
was.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Valinor on Earth, yeah. Because Rivendell is this place where all are sort of welcome. It's the last homely house. It's a preservation of history, but it feels like it's more for all peoples of Middle Earth.
And its connection with the literal landscape and the earth in general.
Yeah.
As opposed to this little plop of fortification and beauty.
Yeah. So I always think about that and then sort of work that backwards. And there's a lot to be learned about Elrond in that process. So I think Elrond will always have a lot of heart, and I think he's always ruled by his heart. I think there's sometimes a perception out there that he's quite cynical, but I don't think he's cynical.
I've never, we got asked that earlier, but I don't see that at all.
No, I don't think that that's who he is. I think that he grows up through this series. I think it's a real moment of growth, and he fails and he has to wrestle with that failure, or will have to wrestle with that failure, because it's sort of right at the end of the show and we haven't seen the ramifications on him yet. But I would think that he's devastated that his plan didn't come off, that he wasn't able to save the city, and that the city was leveled in this brutal way,
Yeah, absolutely. And both of you just do such great performances in it. I'm looking forward to season three. Congratulations on an amazing season finale in season two. Robert Aramayo, Benjamin Walker, thank you so much for speaking with Nerds of Color today. And again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, Charlie, great to speak with you again. This is Swar of the Nerds of Color. And Yeah, just congratulations on that finale. Like, bravo as always.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course, just so we're going full spoilers here. What was it like for you and Morvid to shoot that epic fight scene? Like,
Oh,
it
it was
was
awesome.
incredible to see.
Yeah, it was awesome. We had a long time preparing for it, and then it was great to be able to do it because, we just had to develop the scene as like a scene with dialogue first and how that would stand on its own 2 feet, and then put the action in after. But there was so many different locations and lots of awesome stunts, and the stunt crew were amazing to help us develop it. They put in so much effort and they're incredible. So yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, and just so fun to watch, so invigorating to watch because this, like this dynamic and this battle, there's just so much in there. It was so great to watch.
Uh,
So now at the end of the season, Sauron has the 9 rings. We know what his next moves are, as book readers, as film watchers, to create the One Ring. And, like, this is potential spoilers for the books and, like, for people who don't know, but to be captured by Numenor themselves. Is there anything that you can tease about the next season?
I am in the dark in terms of what's coming. I don't know. There are things that I would hope to do and stories that I know need to be told, which I think there is every intention of telling these stories, like the creation of the One Ring. Numenor is the thing I'm most looking forward to if we get the opportunity to do that. And it's been such a it's so visceral when you read it in the books. Like it's so rich, the sacrificing of the Númenóreans in the temple, and the seat falling from beneath Sauron as the island sinks. So all of that stuff gets me really excited, and I hope to be able to be a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we really want to see it, man. And just like, again, I want to see, because we see the characters in Numenor, like Pharazôn and others, and I just want to see you act against them. Like, we gotta have this.
Yeah, yeah, having the similar relationship with Pharazôn that I had with Celebrimbor this season,
Yeah,
I think it would be really cool.
yeah. Just in general, as we see this season, you as Sauron, you're the you're if we're gonna choose a single protagonist, you're the protagonist, to be honest. Because like you're at the center of everything. You're manipulating virtually all of the characters on Sauron's rise to power. And I'm just curious, like as evil as Sauron, we know that he is, do you find anything inspirational in playing this role?
I think, yeah, it's inspirational in the sense that I get inspired by meeting all these Tolkien fans, being able to the source material. The books are so inspiring, and it keeps me really creatively fulfilled. Even when I'm off doing other projects, there is always something burning in the back of my mind about this world or about this character. And I think even though, yeah, he is really evil, it's still inspiring to be able to try and bring that to life and um, have this kind of complex character, which it's all from the books. That's where it all comes from for me, and I find that incredibly inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you do a fantastic job as the Dark Lord. I
Thank you.
really can't wait to see season 3, hopefully when we see it soon. Charlie Vickers, congratulations on an amazing season, amazing finale to you and the whole cast and crew. And thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you very much.
All
Thanks
right,
for your
this is
time.
Swara with the Nerds of Color, speaking with Charlotte Brändström and Alex Disenhof of the Rings of Power. How are you both doing today?
Very well.
Right, thank you.
Congratulations on season 2 and an amazing season finale. We're going to get into full spoilers here. This is post-mortem. So, the siege and fall of Eregion, it's epic in Tolkien's Legendarium. So, how do you approach shooting the battles and also the humanitarian toll on the elves as we see in the show?
Well, I think that, as Alex said earlier, it all starts on paper. So obviously the scene's written, and then we started a year before we shot it to prep for it. We had to find first of all, a location. We found a huge field in Windsor Great Park in England, where we knew we were going to
start creating the exterior of Eregion, and mainly where we needed that big battlefield and the arrival and the woods and everything. So we sort of, then they started building. We worked a lot with our amazing production designer, Kristin Milstead, to start building the walls of Eregion. And then they created this mud field. They added all this mud, took away the grass and added the mud, because obviously the river was already drained. And then we didn't realize we would have as much mud as we got, because it was also raining a lot. So we had a very hard time moving around in that, but it looked great. It looked realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we made it a bit difficult for us, but and then it's really about planning. I like working with models too, with small miniature models, so that we can plan the battle. We had one in my office, and we would read through the scenes, trying to find the logic of the battle. Find out, we were always questioning, where are they going, why are they going, what's at stake here, and then focus on each character. And then we worked a lot with Vic Armstrong, our second unit director, who was doing the big pieces of battling the backgrounds, and we focused on all the scenes with the actors.
Yeah, and it was just like also so beautiful as well as retching to see. So Alex, could you please expand on the cinematography that went into shooting these battles?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, again, like Charlotte said, the planning element of it can't be understated. It takes an enormous amount of logistical kind of legwork to make these things happen. Just moving the camera around on the battlefield, for instance, was a feat in itself, because of the conditions, the muddiness. So we had various camera rigs. We had gimbals on poles that grips carried that held a camera. We had telescoping cranes. We had all sorts of different kinds of camera tools to capture. And then in terms of lighting, we had enormous overhead soft light that we used to kind of set a kind of an ambient tone for the whole battlefield, which was an enormous space. So it took a huge amount of light. And then you let the fires of the practical fires that have been set, kind of guide us. And that's how we illuminated the battle. So that way people could see what was going on, but it still felt, gritty and dark and scary, because, ultimately it's like a hellscape. And that's kind of what guided us. And then, being able to kind of just play that against what's happening in the forge, which is this more mental battle, and it's quieter, and the light is kind of quieter and darker and cooler, and you kind of have that visual contrast there, which I think worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it worked out so well, and it's really beautiful to watch, even though we know how horrible what's going on it is. So I have a last question for Charlotte. So we see the show take a few departures in timeline while still having the same broad outline as what Tolkien wrote. So I'm just curious how the creative team takes an approach to making an adaptation while not straying too far overall.
That's more a question for the showrunners, because obviously I'm not in charge of the.
Of course, yeah.
The stories, so. I feel like which I know what they're trying very much is to make sure the character and actually the story and the timeline of the Second Age is so huge, it wouldn't even fit if they really. So, and also you can't make things go on forever. So I know that they have to compress some timelines, focus on others, and trying to make it what they find is as dramatic as possible. So yeah. But I'm not obviously. I'm not the writer. I'm just the director.
Well, still, thank you so much for answering my question, and just thank you both for for being part of key part of an amazing, beautiful season, an amazing season finale. Congratulations on season 2. I'm looking forward to hopefully season 3. And just again, Charlotte Brändström, Alex Disenhof, thank you so much for speaking with the Nerds of Color today, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lectures, fanboys, professional artists, and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life, comics, movies, and TV. Yeah, pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.